Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm going to go over all of my TBR books that I own. Now, this is all of my physical TBR books, not ebooks. So these are all the books that are on my shelf that some of them have been here for years. The last time I did this video was almost 2 years ago, and so I figured it was time for an updated one. Some of those books are still the same as 2 years ago, but there are some new ones as well. And this year I am really working on taking down my TBR and making sure that number gets lower each month. So I thought this was a great way to show you all the physical books that I still need to read. And you should also comment down below which books I need to read ASAP. And maybe in the future I will be able to do a vlog where I get to read your recommendations from this video. So please leave your comments down below so that I can make a great video out of that. I think that would be so much fun. Now, there are 3 places in my room where I keep TBR books. So over here, I will show you in a little bit, I have an entire 5-shelf bookcase filled with TBR books. I have my TBR cart both sides. And then lastly, I have one small shelf by my bed that should be immediate TBR books, but a lot of those have still been sitting there for a while. But I will take you around to all 3 places and we're gonna go book by book. Now, of course, in these videos, you don't tend to go deep into synopsis because there can be a lot of them. I know I have around 170 something, so I will give a final count at the end, but most likely I will be holding up the book, telling you the title, and hopefully that gets you interested in what you want me to read in the future. So let's go ahead and look at all of my unread books. So this is my TBR shelf that I have the majority of my TBR books on. As you can see up here, this very colorful shelf. These are all of my Stephen King books, so I'm going to go through those first. Revival by Stephen King. I just realized I'm not going to be saying Stephen King every single one of these books. So first we have Revival. It, which is one of my favorite horror films of all time, so I'm really excited to get this one. It's very chunky. Christine and Cujo. Skeleton Crew and Everything's Eventual. Nightmares and Dreamscapes and Dr. Sleep. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon and Dolores Claiborne. Rose Madder and Gerald's Game. Misery and Full Dark No Stars. 4 Past Midnight and The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. Different Seasons and Just After Sunset. 1922 and Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. Apt Pupil and The Langoliers. The Body and The Sundog. So that's it for my Stephen King shelf. If you are wondering, these are the new Hoffer and Stoughton editions, the UK editions, and I either ordered them from Waterstones or Blackwell's. Moving on to this shelf, I have some special editions here, as well as some like Rick Riordan. The Sun and the Star by Rick Riordan and Mark Oshiro. Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. And Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard by Rick Riordan. This is a trilogy, and it includes The Sword of Summer, The Hammer of Thor, and The Ship of the Dead. Gallant by V.E. Schwab. The Trials of Morgan Crow, Book 1 in the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. At First Spite by Olivia Dade. The Six by Annie Taylor. The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. Now I just realized this shelf also has some Stephen King books, and the first one is the Bachman books. Now this is actually 3 books in one, and I have read the first 3, so the only one I have left in here is The Running Man. Do McKee by Stephen King, and Billy Summers by Stephen King. Moving on to this third shelf is a lot of classic young adult series. I have the Delirium trilogy by Lauren Oliver, which includes Delirium, Pandemonium, Requiem, and the short story collection Delirium Stories. I have 2 nonfiction books, 18 Tiny Deaths by Bruce Goldfarb and Unmasked by Paul Holes. Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. These are very shiny books. Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, and Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. These are the 3 books in the Last Hours trilogy. How to Succeed in Witchcraft by Aislinn Brophy. If You Change Your Mind by Robbie Weber. The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaefer. And Dracula by Bram Stoker. Moving on to the 4th shelf, I have the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. The Flame and the Mist by Renee Audier, Secrets So Deep by Jenny Myers Sain, Storm and Fury by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Middle Game by Shauna McGuire, Carve the Mark and The Fates Divide by Veronica Roth, The End and Other Beginnings, also by Veronica Roth, Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton, The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid, These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, Capturing the Devil by Carrie Maniscalco, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, messes up the white balance, Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling, Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, The End of October by Lawrence Wright, Gilded by Marissa Meyer, and The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. Moving on to the final shelf of this bookcase, I have Spare by Prince Harry, Heartless by Marissa Meyer, Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer, Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain, Poster Girl by Veronica Roth, More Again by Mary E. Pearson, 2 by 2 by Nicholas Sparks, This Is How We Fly by Anna Mariano, Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson, and last on this bookshelf, we have Never Seen and Lodestar by Shannon Messenger. These are books 4 and 5 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. Moving on to my TBR cart, which is right over here. I figured it'd be easier to stand up. Now, I said that my TBR cart is fill front and back, so let's go through those. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, World Travel by Anthony Bourdain, The Vampire Archives, which is the most complete volume of vampire tales ever published, Shadow Study, Night Study, and Dawn Study. These are all by Maria V. Schneider, and these are books 4, 5, and 6 in the Poison Study series, but they are actually books 7, 8, and 9 in the Chronicles of Ixia series. Grace Sling by Kristen Kishore, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, Nearly Gone by Elle Cosimano, None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney, Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, Truly Madly Deadly by Hannah Jane, Dark and Shallow Lies by Jenny Myers-Sane, The Petrified Flesh by Cornelia Funk, The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken, Furthermore by Tahada Mafi, There's Something About Mary by Cody Hall, If There's No Tomorrow by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, His Hideous Heart edited by Dahlia Adler, Because You Love to Hate Me edited by Amory, Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi, Booked on a Feeling by J.C. Lee, Set on You by Amy Lee, Because You Love to Hate Me by Tessa Bailey, All Your Perfects and Hopeless by Colleen Hoover, Leviathan, Goliath, and Behemoth by Scott Westerfield. I have no idea if those books are in order. The Diviners and Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, Dreams of Gods and Monsters, all by Laini Taylor, Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. Alright, turning my TBR cart around, I have a few nonfiction. First, I have Zodiac by Robert Graysmith, The Killer Across the Table by John Douglas and Mark Olshaker, and The Apache Wars by Paul Andrew Hutton, Steelheart, Firefight, and Calamity by Brandon Sanderson, The Brightest Night by Jennifer L. Armentrout, The Burning Shadow by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Into the Steel Blue and Through the Evernight by Veronica Rossi. I have no idea which order these books go in. This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab, Uglies by Scott Westerfield, Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy, Fire and Ash by Jonathan Mayberry, The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout, a memoir, What I Talk About When I Talk About Running by Hiriki Murakami, The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee, The Winter's Curse by Marie Rukowski, Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick, Fallen by Lauren Kate, A World Without You by Beth Revis, The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles, Wings by Elizabeth Richards, White Hot Kiss and Stone Cold Touch by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So that is everything on my TBR cart. Now I have one final shelf to show you. Alright, my last TBR shelf is this top shelf right behind me. You can see it is small. It's right by my bed because I like to think I'm going to pick these up soon, but they've been sitting there for a while. Madly Deadly by Alan Rickman, Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and A Curse for True Love, all by Stephanie Garber. The Real Vampires by Richard Sugg, Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco, The Hunting Wives by May Cobb, It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, The House and the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, Everblaze by Shannon Messenger, The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan, Rogue by Julie Kagawa, my last Stephen King book, Danse Macabre, this is actually one of his nonfictions, A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light, all by V.E. Schwab. And finally, the last book I have to show you is The Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. So those are all of the unread books that I own on my TBR shelves. If my count is correct, remember I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher, but if my count is correct, I have 173 unread books. At the beginning of this year, I started with like 203, so I'm doing really well at reading my physical books and trying to get my TBR down. But I don't know why I thought it would be a brilliant idea to film this video as I'm recovering from bronchitis, because I am exhausted. That's exhausting. But I hope you were able to get something out of this video and see some books that you really want me to read. Once again, please leave a comment down below on any of these books that you would love to see me read, because I need inspiration to pick up some of these books because they've been sitting there for a while. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, go ahead and leave the book stack emoji. But that is it. Thank you so much. As always, all my social media links will be down below. And I will see you next time. Bye!